11.5. Hey,
Yeah, there we go.
everybody.
I don't know if anybody can see us yet. I see
Oh,
Renard.
hey,
Hello to Renard.
Reynard. How are you? And then
And
we got Kay
Munin and
Munin.
John is here.
Thank you, Kay Munin. Yes, we hit the 12,000
Yeah,
mark.
we
We are
hit
happy about
hit the
that.
twelve
Hey,
thousand
John.
hit the 12,000 mark yesterday
Mm-hmm.
afternoon.
Yes.
It hit exactly 12,000. I don't know if they're all watching, but there's 12,000 subscribers evidently.
Yes.
So that's nice. So there we go.
Yes, yes, yes. So we got that. So as always, I hope y'all had a very uneventful week. We had a lot of events the last couple of
Yeah, it's
weeks. A
been
lot of hiccups, a lot of shakeups.
I've had a very rough week.
Yes, some good things and some not so happy things, but all in all, we are still here. God is on the throne, and we are happy. So we hope that
Yeah,
y'all are doing good.
Pastor
Hey,
Rick
Pastor Rick. Sorry to
and
I clicked on your name and didn't say anything.
Jeffrey is there.
Hey,
Yeah, it says
Jeffrey.
congratulations on 12. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Black Knight. How are you? Good to see you. Remember, everyone, Black Knight does have
Hmm.
a channel. He's out of the Chicagoland area, and he takes us on toy hunts. He does a lot of toy hunts, so he takes us all over the Chicagoland
Hmm.
area, showing us what's out there at Target, Walmart, Ross, Ollie's, places like that. So if you enjoy watching toy hunts, check out Black Knight's channel. He also does a lot of unboxings
Yeah.
and reviews. So please give him a check out. You know how we like to do in the community. We show love to everyone. And he has a good channel. We've been watching him for years.
Logic
Hey,
Blaster has
Logic
joined us. A
Blaster.
bunch of people popping in there.
Yeah.
Deke Radio is here.
Hey, Deke. How are you?
Brad Underwood.
Oh, from Smyrna.
Smyrna.
And we got Brad. What's Community City? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well.
Yeah, stuff does happen. Life
Yeah.
happens, but you got to adapt and overcome. And
Alpha
that's what we
Tryon
do.
is here.
Hey, Alpha Tryon. Hey, Robert.
Robert is here.
And we want to say thank you
Thank
to
you.
Pastor Rick.
Yes, making a donation to our cat fund. Of course, we
Yes.
we take care of shelter cats,
Mm.
abandoned and wounded and otherwise neglected cats that we
Yes.
take care of. And we always appreciate any help we can get with them.
Hey, Trevor.
Trevor, as people are starting to pour in again, yeah, we did hit
Mm-hmm.
the 12,000 mark
Yes.
yesterday.
Yes.
And again, I joke, and I don't know if they're all watching or where the hell everybody is, but I appreciate it.
But
I
if all
appreciate it.
12,000 people were watching, we could not keep up with the comments.
No, we'd have to just kind of we'd have to be very selective in the
Yeah.
comments and just kind of
I mean, I would try to click on just so it could be on the screen
talk
so
amongst
everybody
yourselves. Yeah.
everybody can see it. But we do enjoy the interaction. Not that we don't want the channel
Yeah.
to grow and get thousands of people watching at once.
Yeah.
But we do like the interaction. We do like the interaction that
Yeah.
we do. Is like having a conversation
Hmm.
with each and every one of you. So we do enjoy that. But we would like to have thousands of people watching at
Sure.
once.
That'd be fun. Munin wants to know about the layoffs at Super 7.
I didn't hear
I
about that.
I did see their notice for that. They're trying to blame the tariffs, even though they're not really affected by it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great cover for them having to lay people off because, I don't know, their sales have dropped off. Because their stuff doesn't move like it used to.
No.
And it
Did it ever move? Honestly,
doesn't do well aftermarket, and a lot of it is on clearance at Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth and places like that.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian has joined us.
Wanted to say hey to Brian and hey to Lee.
Lee.
But yeah, the tariff. Everything is tariffs.
John
says
buy vintage. Yes. Always buy vintage. I always prefer vintage anyways.
Oh, nothing's going on, Robert. David wanted to do a tour of the museum before we change it up a little bit.
The museum is going to change very drastically.
Yeah, we're going to change it up. So we wanted you to see how it is now. And of course, if you saw Plastic Empire when he was here, he did a great showcase of the museum, but we're going to change up a lot of things. So we wanted to show you like a before and after.
Yeah.
So that's
There's
what
some
that's.
surprises in the wind,
Yeah.
as it were.
Oh God, my wrist. David hit my wrist with a hammer
Oh,
earlier
please.
today. No, I'm just joking.
I dropped the phone.
He did hit my wrist with the phone. He
Yeah, I
dropped it,
dropped it.
and that thing hurts. I didn't realize
I'm sorry.
until I was moving it just
Uh-huh.
now. We got the hat from Value Village.
Yes,
Actually,
actually. Grabbed it, and I was like, hey, you think I should wear this on the live stream? Because it was like $1 or something. And she was like, try it. And now it's like the thing. I mean, I even had to wear it at the Toylanta. I had to wear it at Toylanta. Everybody expected me to have it.
yeah, Jeffrey, that's a good point. And
Mhm.
no, we're not causing drama. We have
Oh, yeah.
discussions and we talk, and this is a place for you to share your opinions,
Mhm.
and we can all talk about them, even if you agree or don't agree. But we're not going to put you down. But
Yeah. I mean, if you like the modern stuff, what am I
yeah,
going to do?
but
Enjoy it.
that is getting tiresome, and it is getting old. That modern, retro, modern, vintage, that whole style
Yeah.
is getting old. It is starting to get played out. Um, it's everything is like the Star Wars. They got the vintage Star
Yeah,
Wars. They got the
the
vintage Masters of the
their
yeah,
retro line, and it's
yeah.
like, okay, and then, or vintage line, and then when you try to
Gosh.
look up vintage on
Hmm.
eBay, you can't find the right
All of
things,
the new
because
stuff pops up.
it all says vintage or retro, and it's like, oh, give me a freaking break here. Even the reaction figures is a nod to the 3 3/4 inch standard figures of the late 70s and 80s. you
Yeah.
know
What I find lazy, and if you saw yesterday's roundup, excuse
all
me,
those boss fight
don't
studios.
yeah,
Yeah.
David showed the boss fight studio of Red Sonja
And Conan.
in Conan,
Yeah.
and when I saw the Red Sonja, I swore that was Tila. I mean, because it seemed like everything
Yeah.
has that 80s Masters of the Universe body, that big, bulky, chunky body.
Hmm.
And it seems like a lot of toys now that are coming out has that look. And it's like, okay, that was popular for that. You got to do your own thing. I don't know if it's good. I guess they just want to kind of build on and instead, oh, people love the Masters of the Universe from the 80s, so let's just make our toys look like that,
Hmm.
and they'll get tricked, hoodwinked into buying it. I don't know, but
Or to make it compatible, so that people will try to merge together when they do loose displays. Maybe, I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I don't
Munin says apparently
know.
a former employee of Super 7 called out the company because they had been firing people already.
Mm,
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, they already are having problems, and they're spread kind of thin, and it just gives them an excuse. It gives them an
yeah.
excuse. Robert.
Robert, all change is not bad.
Yeah.
Some change is good. No, we just want to move things around,
Yeah.
shift things around, get things a fresh look.
Hmm.
So, because it's things that are not on display or is not displayed as well
Hmm.
as it could be. That's all.
So we'll see what happens.
Uh, Figures.
Godzilla. He's talking
Oh,
about
okay,
Godzilla.
okay.
But yeah, the suggesting that the
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla figures were not very well constructed,
Oh,
or the
yeah.
packaging was not very well constructed
Oh, okay.
on the
Well,
Godzilla Super 7 Godzilla. But what are you going to do?
nothing.
What are you going to do? And that they have that thing that they do anyways, and I think they primarily sell those at Target. And we showed the 2 Thundercats yesterday from Super 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the Ultimate figures without any accessories, and so and it's $20 cheaper
Mm-hmm.
because it has one weapon and no hand change outs and no other pieces or head change outs or anything like that. It's like the generic version of the Ultimates figure. And so they have the Chitara and Tigra that
Mm-hmm.
they are releasing now, but I think that's mostly at Target they sell those, right?
I think so.
Robert wants to know, he liked last time with MIB.
Yay.
Who's next?
Pixel.
Pickle Pixel Dan or Justice Curry. We've had Justice Curry on a couple of times
Yeah.
in the past. It's been a while, but we had the thing with him is this time of the day he couldn't do it.
Yeah, he has
He
to do it like around noon.
yeah, and so when we've done a live with him, it's been in the early afternoon. So
Oh
Dan is
no.
like super freaking busy, and that makes it complicated. I mean, he's
Mm.
on his way to freaking Norway
Yeah, if
to
he's
go to a
not there
convention. Yeah.
already. Yeah, K Munin and Robert were saying the same thing. They
Mhm.
think Super 7 is going to merge with another company. I hope it's not Funko. Um, I mean, really,
Oh no.
who would you want them to merge with? Not
Oh man.
Hasbro, not Mattel.
Well, I mean,
Why would they merge?
they're in business to make money
Yeah.
ultimately, and it all starts off nice with that whole concept of buy collectors for collectors, like Mezco, and everybody says that in NECA. But
Mm-hmm.
then when the money starts rolling in, and it's no longer just about hey, feel good nostalgia and kudos,
Yeah.
then and they start actually getting some cash, and it's like, oh, let's start cranking shit out now. Let's just, every time you turn around, there's another toy line available. And then it oversaturates things and people get tired of that.
Hey, David, how are
Blue
you?
Splash is joining us. Jeffrey says, I wonder how the current packaging will hold up in years to come since they've been going cheaper on
Oh,
it,
yes, they
especially with
have.
yellowing and getting brittle in the future. We noticed that
Hey,
specifically.
David,
Oh,
how are you?
nostalgic. We
Yeah.
noticed that with Loyal Subjects because they had, they're redoing
Mm-hmm.
Strawberry Shortcake and
Yeah.
Rainbow Bright,
Yeah.
and those boxes,
Oh, flimsy.
if you've got to kind of pick it up, like this. If you grab, how like you grab a packaging,
I'm gonna
like
go get one so
yeah,
you can show.
like this box right here. Here's my Chuck Norris Karate Corvette, right, Kenner, and I can take it and pick this up. It's a solid box. With the Loyal Subjects Rainbow Bright, if I did that, the top of the box would collapse and it would make permanent damage. That's how flimsy the packaging is. I mean, it comes in already damaged in the box.
So this is the Loyal Subjects,
Yeah.
and I call it cereal boxes. You know how a cereal
Yeah.
box, you can
It's
feel the
really
flimsiness.
you can see the like if you can see the buckling and I'm just barely touching it.
Yeah, and this is the original from the 80s.
And it's
that's
thick.
A thick
Yeah,
piece of cardboard
really
where
thick.
cardboard was cardboard.
Yeah.
That's because trees were trees. I'm serious. You look
And
at men were men.
and women were glad of it, as the Three Stooges would say. But these, you got to be careful. They will be damaged so
Yeah.
easily.
But oh, they do have connection with. I don't
think
know.
through the reaction figures, right? Was that the connection?
I don't know.
Originally,
I don't know.
I think that was it. But yeah, the packaging is so flimsy on a lot of this modern stuff. And then sometimes they'll surprise the hell out of you. Like your Jug Band Christmas figures.
Yeah.
That cardboard was really thick.
Yeah.
It was like a clipboard.
It's nice.
It was crazy how thick that was.
Hey Richard. Oh, your wife loves Rainbow Bright.
Bright.
I like Rainbow Bright. The cartoon is hilarious.
Cartoon is really funny.
I don't know if you've seen the cartoon, but the cartoon is great.
And Murky was voiced by Peter Cullen.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
You can't hardly tell.
Because he sounds like this. Lurky, where are you? We're gonna get Rainbow Bright this time. And it's like, that's Peter Cullen. Holy crap.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Robert. Yeah. Because we watched, of course, and it's different when you see someone else
doing it.
Do the video. Because I remember when Pixel Dan came by and I watched it and I'm like, oh my God. And that's when I realized, oh, I need to go down there and change some stuff. And I changed a bunch of stuff after he left, because it's different when you see it on the TV
through someone else's perspective.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't look bad. Please don't get me wrong. It looked great, but I was like, oh man, this would look better like that. But when you see it every day, you don't really get it. So yeah, I appreciate when other people film and then you watch it and then you look at it from their perspective, out of their lens and all of that. So it's good.
Yeah.
The packing on modern toys are quite flimsy. They're
Falling.
falling apart.
It says K Munin.
Yes.
Richard doesn't like the modern stuff. He said modern stuff sucks. John says he likes the Super 7 reaction, but only the ones with vintage versions.
Yeah.
I have some of the Alien and Buffy Vampire Slayer.
I like their vintage ones, like the Sesame Street one, Richard Scarry.
Yeah. Stuff.
And didn't they do the Jug Band? Who did? No, somebody else
that
did
was a
Jug
different
Band.
company that did Jug Band.
But the reactions that I have from Super 7 are only the Richard Scarry and the Sesame Street. I really like what they did with that.
And plus, Richard Scarry, for example, Sesame Street's been done a lot over the years.
Yeah.
But they have done characters that have not been done before. And with Richard Scarry, the last time it was done, and I think it was the Play School Puzzle Town collection, which was like 1972 or something, 74. Jeffrey says their anxiety would be through the roof with those. I remember the old Spawn figures. You needed scissors to open. Yeah, they were really, really rigid plastic to get into those Spawn. The very first few waves of Spawn, yeah, they were pretty solid.
I never saw the Rainbow Bright movie with robots, monsters, aliens, and Rainbow Bright gruesomely murders the main. Wow,
I don't know that one.
I'm gonna look that up. I never saw the Rainbow Bright movie.
Blue Splash went from DC to New York City and went to some shops.
Ah.
Picked up some Jim Carrey mask, Planet of the Apes, Hasbro 6 scale, 98 figures, Mighty Max. Okay, My Pet Monster.
Wow, you got a lot of things going.
Patrick is here.
Hey, Patrick.
And Saturday Morning Fan is here. Says still no Oscar's sloppy jalopy toy yet. However, I think you lost me there. Oscars.
Oh, I think the sloppy jalopy, isn't that what
Oscar, of course. His taxi cab.
Yeah.
You mean the Oscar's taxi cab?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, now I got it. Now I got it from Jada Metals.
Jada Metals did it. I have it. I do. I think so. I have the Jada Metals Oscars taxi cab.
Interesting.
And the Star Stealer. They added a new boy with robot horse that was going to get a cartoon. Wow.
Never got made, according to Saturday Morning Fan. I'm not familiar with that one. Richard says, here is some help with the kitties.
Oh, thank you, Richard.
Where?
No.
I don't know. It's coming. We'll take all the help we can get with our poor feline friends.
Oh, geez.
My poor babies. Robert says, one thing I like for Super 7, they make everything in 3-inch. I like the regular movies, stars, Svengoolie, Alfred Hitchcock. Okay, yeah, Vincent Price, music artists, etc. Yeah, they do a lot of things that don't typically get done. That's true. That is true.
Yeah. So that keeps things nice and fresh. Because it's not the same things over and over like they were doing with like the Thundercats, the Ninja Turtles, the
Oh, there it is. There you go. Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you very much, Richard.
Yeah.
For helping our babies.
We do enjoy that.
Yeah, we got there's a lot of shows coming up. We're not going to all of them.
No, we're not.
We're not going to all of them. The next one that we'll be at is going to be the Retro Toy Swap in Powder Springs, because the Retro Toy Swap has always been very good to us. I found some amazing deals at Retro, so I can't ignore that. I'll go. Then what? Joe Lanta, right?
No, Joe
Fest. Joe Lanta has a date, but I don't have a card for them yet.
Okay.
But Joe Fest we'll go to. Joe Lanta will go to. And ATL, we got an invite.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll go to the ATL Comic Con. Which should be, I mean, that's enough right there.
Yeah, I know.
If we can't, yeah, we can't. I wish I could go to every one of them and make an appearance, and I'll even bring the crown, because everybody expects that now. I get that too. Where's the crown? I didn't bring it to the last Retro Toy Swap, and people were coming up to me, "Where's the crown? Where's the crown?" I'm like, "Oh my God!" I just
quit acting like it's a burden.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Huzzah!
Whatever.
Huzzah!
Yeah, David's been letting the wallet run loose lately,
Also,
picking up the whole
oh
reboot
wow.
figures by Irwin, except one figure that he still
Slash, yeah, Blue
needs.
Splash says, yeah, the reboot. Those are still fairly affordable though, right? I think the reboot series.
Ah,
Yeah, John says in the
John.
past month he bought his own vintage Mego Captain Kirk.
Mm.
Robert says all that goes to Hobo. Oh, I wish. Richard watched some of the museum tour video. Amazing collection. I'm very jealous. Oh, don't be jealous, Richard.
No.
Don't be jealous. I'm sure you have a nice
Oh,
collection.
okay. Blue Splash is going to
Oh, he's
Joe
going to
Fest.
be at the Joe Fest. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you'll see Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
Sergeant Slaughter. If it's got Joe in the title, Sergeant Slaughter will be there. It doesn't. I think Joe Fest is the one that does the breakfast with Sarge bit, where you can buy in to have a breakfast with Sergeant Slaughter
Yeah.
at a like a round table kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've never been to one, so I don't
Mm-mm.
know how that goes, but I do know from talking to uh, Sarge that he's pretty friendly.
Mm-hmm.
He looks grumpy, but he actually enjoys the interaction.
He does.
He
He really
does.
does. I love when you started going down the stairs and saw the Hulk and Iron Man poster. Amazing,
Oh,
says
Richard,
Richard.
yeah.
I'm trying to stick to a $200 monthly budget.
It helps if you have a budget, Jeffrey.
Yeah,
And but
it does.
sometimes sometimes you just what are you gonna do? You
Mm,
go over, you stay under the Gaylord dogs.
yeah.
Richard pointed out. Yeah, I can pull them up here if you guys want to see it. And Fabio is here.
Hey Fabio. The one thing I found with the I have my toy budget go to a whole separate bank. I'm serious.
Yeah.
And that's what I use. And when if I use all, you use all. If you don't, then you got some left over for the next time. And that seems like it's the easiest because you'll be tempted. You had $150 and then you see something for 175
Yeah.
and you got it coming from your regular bank account, you'll go over quick. But if your card turns off at 200, then you won't go over.
That's the My Toy Gaylord Bank. That's what he's talking about, right? My
Mm-hmm.
Toy Gaylord. For what 1971, I think, and they came in different sizes, right? So here's a shorter one. So and they came with and without teardrop. You see, this one's crying. He had a bad day.
Deep
And
Radio's not sure if he's going to ATL Comic Con.
okay,
Well, if you do and
if
you
you
see
do,
us, give us a wave.
sure, say hi. And they did them in different colors. Like you see, this one's kind of red as opposed to brown.
Empire Strikes Back is 45.
Really?
That's what
Ugh.
Saturday morning.
See, now you're
says.
making me feel older.
Hey,
And
Stone Sour, how are
hey,
you?
Stone Sour. And they also colored these completely different. Like I've seen it in blue, I've seen it in red, which is very rare. They also made ceramic versions, which I don't want.
Yeah, that can break easy.
Yeah, I'm happy with the plastic bank versions like this. And they usually don't go for much.
Yeah.
Old banks like this, like the AJ Renzi banks, most of them are not that much. Some can be very expensive, like the Planet of the Apes ones can get up there. And usually most of the AJ Renzi also made Halloween buckets, but and I showed one last time because I showed it to I think I showed it to somebody, I forget, but I brought a Halloween bucket out from AJ Renzi. The skull ones can be expensive because they did them in like a million colors. They have like purple with green eyes, purple with blue eyes, blue with yellow eyes. They just went nuts with it because these companies that made stuff like this, they cast it. What color plastic we got? What kind of paint we got? I don't care. Just keep cranking them out. And you get all these weird color variations. But yeah, these are fun. And if I see one, I'll pick it up because they don't cost much. But I mean, that is so 70s. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
It really is.
John wants to know if you ever watched the TV show Wild Wild West. Somebody just gave him that DVD series.
I did. I have seen that show.
Oh, you have?
It's one of those shows where you'll get a crap ton of like 70 star guest appearances, because that was a big thing with guest appearances on shows like that. It's kind of like all gee whiz, it's like a sci-fi sort of western. It's a
Mm,
western, and they're on a train and they travel around the country, and they're secret agents or something working for the government, but they're cowboys,
I don't know about
and
that one.
they have all these weird gadgets and stuff.
That's
It,
a bit much.
no, it's not any worse than God, what is that Canadian show I hate? With the Mountie, with the detective.
Oh,
Murdoch Mysteries.
Murdoch was all
It's
right.
Murdoch Mysteries on a train, because they got technology they shouldn't freaking have. At least there's no lying ass woman ruining his life.
You know they got married. I told
I
you
know,
they
I
got
know, I know.
married. Ooh, that
Biggest
thing made
okey
me
doke,
so mad.
because he all he did for the whole season was talk about how he wanted to have 100 kids,
Yeah.
and then she marries him, and she was like, "I'm barren, bitch." You think you might have mentioned that all that time you were courting? Oh my God, I did. I was
that
done.
that
The
was
show.
that was annoying because he pined over this woman for like 2 or 3 seasons. The first season he was all in love and
Yeah, yeah.
smitten. Season 2, she ran off and married a whole nother man. And then got a divorce in like season 3 or something, 3 or 4, whatever. They got married. And then she was like, after they got married, walked down the aisle and all, I
Uh-huh.
can't have kids. I think she had a hysterectomy or something. She did something purposely to not have kids.
Yeah.
It wasn't that, oh, I found out I'm barren and I can't have kids. She took measures. But I wanted to talk about Richard. He says he started
Just started
collecting
collecting again.
again, and a lot of people have started has collected for whatever
Took
reason,
a break.
stopped. Either they just stopped, kept what they had, stopped, or sold whatever because things happen. You know, you fall on hard times, you get
Mm-hmm.
a bad spouse, a fire, a flood, or whatever.
Tell
But
me
I
about
just
it.
wanted to ask for the crowd, the room, how many of y'all have started collecting again? You know, David story. He
Yeah,
started collecting
most
again.
of you know my story
How many of
about what
y'all
happened.
have started collecting again? What have you started collecting again? And how is that going? When you did the tour close to the beginning, we caught my what caught my eye
Pastor
was a
Rick.
Schoolhouse
Yeah.
Rock lunchbox. Big fan.
Yeah, that's not a vintage lunchbox though,
No.
because they never originally had one. That's
Yes.
actually a NECA, when NECA was still making full size lunchboxes and
Yes.
thermos. Although technically that might actually be vintage now.
By now it
Yeah,
probably is. It's probably 20
but
years
yeah,
old.
Schoolhouse Rock was fantastic.
Yeah, that's my Twilight Zone poster. I want to get a couple of more. I like getting the posters of TV shows that I watch, TV
Yeah.
shows or movies. And I got a lot of TV shows. And I know people are like, oh, Twilight Zone and what was it? Sons of Anarchy and Viking. I really like those shows. I did. I really enjoyed those shows. It's 3 others I want. I want a picture of Barnabas Collins, and I want one of Planet of the Apes, but it's a certain picture from Planet of the Apes. If you saw the TV show, the Planet of the Apes
Oh
TV
yes,
show,
the live action
the
show.
live
The live
action
action.
TV show, in the intro, at the end of the intro, the 3 gorillas, what were they? Gorilla apes. The
Yeah,
three
the
apes.
three gorillas.
They came up into the sunset. The sun was behind them, and one had the
Yeah, he holds up the
hold up
rifle
the
because they're
rifle.
sending a signal.
Yeah,
And the other one's blowing a trumpet.
yeah. Hey, Sylvan.
Sylvan's here.
I really like that picture. That image I thought was well done. When you see it, it looked accidental when you see it.
Yeah.
But it was like this happened and the camera caught it, or the video caught it.
It's good
And
cinematography.
yeah, and then they froze on it and closed out the intro. But I think that's a great picture. I love that picture. I love. And I would like to have it. I looked for it for a while, and then we ran out of space where my pictures are. So I haven't bought any more pictures. But I got a couple of more to put up that are
Yeah.
just not up because we don't have the space.
Saturday morning, asking about the Lunchbox
Yes.
Museum. We've been there,
Yes.
and we toured it, and we did a
video.
full video
Mhm.
of that entire museum, and it's on this channel.
Yeah, it's in Columbus,
Mhm.
Georgia. You can just walk up in there. It's in a antique. I guess it's an antique mall or a thrift mall. A thrift
It's an
store.
antique mall.
I don't know if it's an antique mall,
Yeah,
but
something.
anyway, it's in the back.
Yeah.
And then you like, can I see the end? Oh yeah, just walk on through there, that door, and then you walk through the door, and it's like you're coming into a whole new world. And it was nice because it had the lunch boxes, the lunch trays, the trash cans.
And he had some really, really surprisingly rare boxes and thermoses, including the pink elephant. That's a tough one.
He saw the savers. What?
Because I showed those. I've done a couple
those
of the savers.
Dolls?
Yeah, savers, our savers. They've got like 50 Bratz dolls mint in the box that somebody left them.
He said, "Maya King Friday." Hey, Midnight
King Friday
Madness.
the 13th. That's right. Midnight Madness is joining us here today. Oh yes, King Friday
Briscoe
the 13th.
County Jr.
They have like 50 of them. They got $100 a piece on the damn things. And maybe they're worth that much, maybe not. I don't know. But that's not what people go to a thrift store for.
No, you ain't going there to spend $100 on no bread.
And then the book set today I showed
that's what you showed.
Because it was a box, a Dr. Seuss book collection, and there's a half a dozen or so books in that box. They priced each book individually
and put it back in the box.
Put it back in the box set. And I'm like, son of a bitch, you can't price it. You can't put it in a bag and price it together. Obviously, this is a set.
Yeah.
You knew it was a set. You put it all in there, but you priced them all one at a time. What kind of crap is this? Savers does stuff like that. You find it's a toss-up like any thrift store. You can find good deals sometimes, and other times you see stuff that doesn't make any damn sense. Like that broken Teddy Ruxpin for $249.95 at Goodwill that time, and I'm like, mint in the box is it this much? Are you kidding me? Oh, and Richard want to know what's a good set of toys to start at a beginning that's low in price. We have 3 videos on this channel.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have 3 videos on this channel. Inexpensive alternatives. 70s, 80s, and 90s action figure and toy lines.
Yeah, and that was a good.
Yeah, that was
I even bought series. Stuff off of that.
Yeah, that's how she ended up getting the shadow from Kenner.
Yeah,
I think the only one that is shifted since I did those videos is the Playmates Ronin Warriors.
And the Swamp Thing is going starting up to go up,
and Swamp Thing is inching up a little bit
too.
But if you look that up in our archives, I did one for 70s, one for 80s, and one for 90s.
Yeah,
toy lines that are cheaper than the modern alternatives, because everybody thinks vintage. Oh, I can't afford vintage toys because they're looking at the big sexy stuff like Masters of the Universe and Ninja Turtles,
G.I. Joe,
Star Wars. Yeah, that stuff is pricey. A lot of the rest of it's not that bad, actually. No Blue Splash. I do not have Dr. Evil. I used to have a bunch of, I think I might have had the whole set of the Ideal Captain Action, including Dr. Evil.
The trolley, Mr. Rogers,
Midnight wants to see the trolley?
Yeah.
I'll pull it out. I'll pull it out here in a moment.
Okay. A decent amount, like maybe starting about, if you watch that video.
And a lot of the modern ones, if you're looking for modern, if you go to the conventions, all the G.I. Joe Classifieds and Hasbro Marvel Legends, all of that kind of stuff, we see it all the time. NECA figures, Ninja Turtles, Ultimates, 10, 15, $20 a piece, still mint in the box.
Blue Splash says when he was in Florida, he kept his collecting in a cage. Now he's in Virginia. He let that beast loose and he just free balling everywhere. I slowed down collecting. Prices is too high, said Stone Sour.
Stone Sour made a donation to the channel.
Thank you, Stone Sour.
Stone Sour. He says for the kiddies.
Love the lunch. Yes.
Yeah, the lunchbox.
I forgot where I got that lunchbox from. I know I bought it. I didn't buy it new, but it was new.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
This is what he's talking about.
Yes.
The 1977 Ideal Mr. Rogers musical trolley. And it comes with 2 finger puppets of Daniel Striped Tiger and Lady Elaine Fairchild.
Mhm.
And it's one of 5 items made with the Mr. Rogers logo by Ideal, including the 3 hand puppets pictured there. I have 2 out of 3. I'm missing Lady Elaine. And then there's the castle playset, which is like trying to find the castle playset is like trying to find a missile firing Boba Fett. It's just not out there. Every once in a while, I see a piece from it on eBay once every year or two. This is like so amazing. And Mr. Rogers was not big on merchandising at all.
Yeah.
So you didn't get much. You didn't get much. I mean, he was booking record sets and things like that, but educational toys, but this kind of stuff, nah, not really. And it's like this box is not sealed. It's like the most charming little thing here. Just be careful.
Richard loves the lunchboxes. Kay Munin got back into comics after 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So you get these 2 little finger puppets. There's Lady Elaine and Daniel Striped Tiger. And yes, he does have on his watch.
Wow.
See? And it's obviously child size. I don't think I could get my pinky in this hole. It looks like it's compatible with the finger puppets from the Kentucky Fried Chicken playset from Child Guidance, actually.
I don't know about that.
And then you get this lovely musical trolley. And it is musical because as it drives, it plays the theme song. It's got a little music box function in there.
You got anything related to the electric company?
They didn't have any merchandising either, except for, I do actually, if I can't show you, it's the Spidey comics.
Yeah, you do have a bunch.
I've got a bunch of the Spidey because they made a comic book series based on the Spider-Man from the electric company that has characters from the electric company in the comic book. And they had albums and stuff like that, and books, but they really didn't merchandise anything from that show either.
Trevor said he has stretches of not buying anything for a while. Then he'll have a couple of months where he spends like it's going out of style.
Oh, see?
I don't know. The Swamp Thing collection looks good. Yeah, Swamp Thing. The cart is based on the cartoon. The cartoon was awful, but the toys are nice. David, I saw a recent video about collecting and the constant goal to get that definitive toy of your youth. So people keep buying the same toy characters over and over again to get the newest version. I don't know. I don't think that's necessary.
Well,
I mean, because the amount of money you would pay for all, like let's say if you wanted I don't know, a Darth Vader, the 77 one, and you swear up and down you can't afford it, but you buy 15 of the new Darth Vaders, you could have bought the original one. You know what I mean? I mean, if you want to just satisfy the urge and the need of having the a Darth Vader, and you, because you saw him when you was a kid, and you saw him in 77, it'll satisfy you more, I believe, if you just get the original. Okay, you say the original costs $300 in the box. I want mine in the box and it's nice and pretty. If you save up the $350, $75, tax and shipping, instead of buying 15 of the Kenner ones now that's going to break as soon as you open it, the package is all flimsy, you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
You'll be more satisfied, I believe.
Well, and also people get into this trap with a lot of the modern toys and figures, and you see a lot of that with Hot Toys.
Yeah.
And collectors and sideshow collectors, that the next new thing rolls around.
Oh, thank you, Richard.
Detail is the detail is better
Mm-hmm.
or some change has been made, and then the rest of it they just throw it out. They don't even care anymore. They sell it for half the price they paid for it. You see that constantly. So, and they know you're going to do that.
Yeah.
So they make a tweak here, an improvement there. Oh, this will have soft goods this
Yeah.
time. This will get an extra accessory. Now the thing is moving eyes.
Yeah, glass eye, moving eye,
Because they
flocked
it
hair.
was actually who was it? Big Chief Studios that started that. And now Hot Toys does it with almost every figure. Well, they're doing it with figures they've already
Ooh.
produced, and they'll say, okay, well, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi version this 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
moving eyes this time. And it's like, oh, geez, now I need that one. And then they sell the other one for pennies on the dollar and then buy the new one until the next thing rolls around.
Yeah.
You know?
See, Richard want that Shogun
Oh, yeah, the
Warrior.
Shogun
That's
Warrior.
expensive.
Those are not cheap.
I can't believe those Swamp Thing and Shadow figures were pricey. For things like that, I like to buy them, you know, in the on the street in the wild. But a lot of times you're not gonna find it not at a good price. So you almost like forced to go to eBay because I bought all of my Swamp Thing figures
Let
for
me see
under
something for a second.
$25.
Yeah, Blue Splash said the
Wow.
Hive Sectar set is like 3 to 4 feet tall. Yeah, it is. The Hive set from Sectars is insanely big. It's insanely big. It doesn't even make any sense. And usually when you see it with the box is beat up really, really badly. And we've seen one, and it bounces around from convention to convention.
Mm-hmm.
You know the one?
No.
Yeah, it bounces around from convention to convention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the dealers buy it from each other. We've
Oh,
seen it a
yeah.
bunch of
Yeah.
times. Here, Richard, hold on a second. Let me put this on here so I can get you started. And then we'll bounce back. I'm going to throw this on the screen, and then we'll go back and catch up because I know we're way freaking behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
T. Stewart gave a donation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll show
Stewart.
that in a moment. You see where it says figure video and HTTPS? That's the 70s in a cheaper 70s figure video. And on the back of that should also be links to the other two.
Mm-hmm.
So that, so you can kind of you get, give you some ideas.
Yeah, get you started.
And it's saved in here as well. It's in the it should be in the discussion link. And there's T. Stewart helping the channel out or helping the cats out.
Yeah.
Always appreciate it. Thank you very much for that.
Let me see if I can see where we left off. Lady Elaine, Eagle
Deep
Nightmare
says Lady
Fuel.
Elaine. Well, I mean, she had that boomerang.
Oh, she did?
The boomerang, toomerang, sumerang. And she could like cast spells on people. I've got the other two puppets. I do not have the Lady Elaine in the box. That's what I'm missing. But they're very expensive if they're in the original boxes.
Yeah. Savers is expensive. They because like they changed the Value Village. They changed it from Value Village to Savers. And when it was Value Village, VCR tapes were like 25 cents.
Yeah, that's right.
DVDs were like $1. Records were like $2. I don't know how much CDs were. Now VCR tapes is $1 because I saw something today and I was like, oh man, that'll be cool. I can get that. But it didn't have a price. So I asked the girl a price and she looked at the other. She's like, oh, it's supposed to be $1. I'm like, I'm not paying $1 for a VCR tape. So I left it.
There's the infamous play set there. God, look at all those pieces. I would love to, even loose, I would love to have that. And there's the trolley again. And it has I think 5 finger puppets come with the play set. And then the puppets. But again, I don't have the Lady Elaine. That's the one I need to complete this set. I have to just be content with the idea that I'll never probably find that neighborhood set.
Jeffrey sold his entire collection in 2011 and only started again in 2023, mostly focusing on Kenner and Mattel and Playmate lines from the 80s and 90s. And Out of Sight is here.
Hey.
Thank you, Out of Sight. The $200 goes to Hobo.
200.
Where $200 came in at?
Someone gave us $200.
I didn't see
I
nothing.
must have missed it.
Hold on a minute.
No.
No, I didn't think so.
That's wishful thinking.
It'd be nice though. Hobo
Yeah.
will love that. Seen a guy on Instagram, a vintage collector took a Kenner Terminator figure on the card and tear it open out of the package.
Says Blue Splash there. But
Things like that are just
I've
unnecessary.
seen worse.
Yeah.
I saw a guy do it with a vintage carded Kenner Indiana Jones. I also saw a guy do it with a set of vintage carded Mego Happy Days figures. And they were immaculate cards. His thing is to buy the best possible version and then rip it open. And I'm like, dude, you can buy one on a jammed up card and open it and nobody will care. You're buying the best possible version and bidding crazy amounts for it and cheating someone, because you got these other people that were bidding against you probably been looking years for an Indiana Jones in that kind of condition. You outbid them probably by a couple of dollars, so you can basically clickbait for your channel to destroy vintage packaging.
But you know what? That's his money.
I know it's his money,
and he got a right to do whatever he pleases.
I didn't get to watch it though.
No, you ain't got to watch it. Just like anything, if you don't like what they're giving, don't watch it.
No big reveal.
No
T. Stewart says that I missed the big reveal. No, we're gonna leave you all hanging.
They ain't leaving you hanging. We just making some changes to the museum.
See what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Wait and see what's gonna happen.
The new Darth Vader figures all rot
on the shelves. Even Clone Wars Anakin can't sell in the stores.
Oh no, Hot Toys doesn't
like the Hot Toys.
I like some of them. I bought a few, like the Batman and the Jokers. I bought those.
She has the original Hot Toys Predator.
Yeah, Robert gets mainly 6 scale, but I'm satisfied enough that I have all the characters: Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Star Wars. Good.
Richard is jealous of a friend who has 2 U.S. flags.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Don't be jealous.
Yeah.
It's okay. It is what it is. You do you.
Yeah, exactly.
You do you. It's the best, and that's the best you can. It's enough.
I know, that's right.
It's enough.
Shoot.
It's enough. Here's something that I've got to clean this packaging off a little bit, but this just came in this week. And
what is that?
It's the Nerf cycle in the 70s. And this came from J.C. Penney, and it was $4.44, marked down to $3.40, and marked down again to $2.22. Look at that. That is crazy. 70s Nerf cycle. I forget what year specifically.
Wow.
I think is that it? 1978? Is that right? 1978. This one's actually, it looks a little rough. It's still sealed, but it's actually in pretty good condition, because sometimes these tires start to dissolve and you get all this black stuff in the packaging. And it is a functional cycle, believe it or not, because Nerf was doing a lot of stuff like that. They had a Nerf superhero, they had a Nerf airplane, Nerf frisbee, Nerf footballs. You remember, they didn't, in the modern era, I think all they do is make those Nerf guns, but back then they made all kinds of stuff like this, which is just really cool. And I stumbled across this really cheap and picked that up this week. Stewart says Hive playset from Sectars is awful. It's literally a $600 shell. Well, I hate to break it to you, J Evil Scientist.
J Evil.
That's all Castle Grayskull is a blow mold.
That's all the Cat's Lair is. Cat's
Lair is a blow mold. Yeah, I mean they're not that fantastic. I mean, they look good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Castle Grayskull looks.
They look okay, but I mean, as far as functional play sets, It's not there. It's really not there.
Mm.
G.I. Joe made functional play sets, like the Terradrome that's sitting behind me. You may not be able to see it, but the Terradrome, fantastic play set. You know,
I never saw the Ice Castle from Black Star, but we watched the Black Star cartoon. And I think I heard the Black Star figures are very expensive.
yeah, they are.
Yeah, Robert, we got you.
Okay.
Just look, yeah, no Mr. Rogers playset at all, but full set of Mr. Rogers 70s
I bet
puppets.
it's expensive as hell.
You've seen
Blue
Voltron
Splash wants to
castles.
know if I've seen the Voltron Castle Alliance. I have seen that from time to time.
Hey,
Frank and
Frankenfrog.
Frogs joined us. Yeah, that the Voltron stuff turns up from time to time.
No, we're not demoing no basement
wall.
wall.
Oh no.
We're not tearing down walls. We're just gonna change things around.
And Felicia.
Hey, Felicia.
Anyone visited the Fred Rogers
I didn't know he
Institute?
had
I love
one.
the show. No, I have not seen that.
Oh wow. Where is
not
that?
seen that.
What city and state is that in? Open up the Silverhawks vehicle.
Saturday morning said someone did that with Silverhawks opening packaging. Ugh, yeah,
that's their money. We don't spend other people's money.
I know. I just hate that he does it to sensationalize.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. Because that kind of stuff I won't watch.
Yeah.
If you handle your comic books too heavy for me, I turn it. I'm serious. I watched this one guy.
Oh, those resellers?
And no, this guy, he wasn't even a reseller. Yeah. He was a collector. But he was picking up the comics and slamming it down. And then he had some in boxes and he was bending it back to look through the boxes. And I was like, I can't take it. I turned it off. And he had some nice comics, but he was too rough. I couldn't take it. So I turned that off. I said, I ain't come back to your channel. You too rough. Shoot, that's too much money. And he had some big ones. I mean, he didn't have like punk dollar bin books like I do. I mean, you know, yeah. If I throw down my books, I only spend $1.50 for them. He had those books that's a couple of $1,000s. You remember that guy? I don't know if you don't really be watching that close, but he had some.
Oh no!
He had some big ones from the Silver Age books. You know, those Marvels and DCs, the number ones, and I'm like, dude, you are really rough on those books. It was just a bit much. I'm not really jealous. I admire that he still has one in the box and immaculate and one that he played with.
It says Richard there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's taken apart, still in the box.
Yes.
That's cool. Munin says they're changing the museum in order to better display and put focus on their anime collection. Oh, you think so, huh?
Yeah, that's going to be
I don't have a lot of anime.
I don't have anything anime.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't have anything.
Saturday morning, of course, to a kid with a big imagination, the shell playsets were incredible.
Yeah.
Robert wants to know, is the Terradrome or the G.I. Joe headquarters better? Terradrome's better because it's all in one piece. The G.I. Joe headquarters are sectional, and you have to fit it together, and it doesn't necessarily stay that way, you know, because I've got both. But the Terradrome, I think, is a lot better as a functional toy. And Renard wants to know, was Buck Rogers in the 21st Century a good show? With Gil Gerard from the late 70s? I liked it.
It was okay. I didn't care for Willa, but
Wilma Deering.
It was Wilma? I thought it was Willa. Whatever. I ain't care for her anyway.
Wilma Deering.
No.
You know, Wilma.
She was a load.
Oh no.
No, I mean, she just pined after Buck the whole time and everything. And every time he went out on mission, she shoehorned her way in there and then had to get saved all the time. And
oh
like, you could have stayed on the ship.
Aaron Gray.
Yeah, well, she could have stayed on the ship.
Aaron Gray. Frank and Frog picked up Rick James and the Pointer Sisters.
All right. I don't know if I have any Pointer Sisters. I got a couple of Rick James.
You got a bunch of Rick James stuff. Old stuff. You do. Midnight says
question.
Okay, 1974 Sesame Street Muppet Miniatures, little 2-inch PVC figures with this little box playset street scene. I know
You
you
got
have.
that.
No, I don't have the
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
have
looking at
Muppet
it.
miniatures.
Oh, Muppet. No, you
Not
got the.
PVC, not PVC.
It's
I've
Sesame
got
Street.
okay, these are not PVCs.
Oh, those aren't
I know
PVCs.
what you're talking about. I don't
Oh,
have
okay, it's
that.
in Pennsylvania. The Fred Rogers Institute is in Pennsylvania.
See, this is what she's thinking about.
Yeah.
Like sets like this.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I don't have any of the PVC sets. But that's classic too. The Fisher Price Little People, Little Peg People, and they made a they made a complete Sesame Street, and they also made like a Sesame Street playground kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Blue Splash went to the Target in New York City to see if they had anything, and it was the worst Target he's ever been in.
Was everything?
They had Black Series Star Wars on the shelf from 2018.
Nobody stole them yet? I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah. I said we didn't have any anime, and they're y'all yelling at me. Shogun Warriors are anime, David.
Yeah.
David does have. I don't have any, though.
Raw Talk.
Hey, Raw Talk, Raw Deal.
There you go. Wilma Deering, a.k.a. Aaron Gray. Third TV crush. Oh, no.
That's the third. So he had two others.
Aaron Gray.
Daisy Duke was one.
Oh, no. Who else?
And Bonnie from Knight Rider.
Oh, not Bonnie.
He was in love with Bonnie and Daisy.
Nuh-uh.
Ain't I
Bonnie.
right, Raw Talk?
No, it's not Bonnie.
Yeah. Oh, because he was in love with not Bonnie.
Ann Jillian.
Was that not Bonnie?
No.
Who's Ann Jillian?
Ann Jillian's another actress from that time.
You know who he loved? Sue Ellen.
No.
What was her name? Gray. Linda Gray.
No.
Sue Ellen.
Not Sue Ellen.
The season 1 Sue Ellen. Not when she had that little 15-year-old boyfriend and they tried to spike her hair.
I got a better guess. I've got a better guess.
Who?
Lonnie Anderson from WKRP.
No.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Come on, Lonnie. WKRP.
It was not.
WKRP Lonnie Anderson. WKRP Lonnie Anderson.
No, I'm telling you.
He'll tell us.
I know who it was. What's the wife on Dynasty? The wife on Dynasty.
I don't remember. I won't watch Dynasty.
Melissa from Falcon Crest.
He wouldn't have been watching soap operas unless somebody forced him.
Yeah, his mama.
Wow.
Mine did. Well, no, my grandmama
Blue
did.
Splash suggests that some millionaire viewer should send me the Defiant.
Yeah, we'll all fall out.
That would be nice.
Love Transer,
Transer Z and Robotech. Yeah.
Okay, the Power
Saturday
Hour.
Morning Fan. Robotech was classic. Jeffrey wants to know if I have the Mr. Clean promotional figures from 2000. Oh. Yeah, there are two different. I do not have those.
Oh, you don't have either one of them.
I've got the Scrubbing Bubbles, but I don't have that. You
don't like Wilma? Nope. I bet you.
Ardala. Do you like Ardala? The princess. Yeah.
The one that Buck always used to push around.
Yeah, because she really liked Buck. And,
she did like.
And Buck because he knew it wasn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, everything was locked in cases, says Blue Splash. I could see that.
See?
Daisy Duke. Okay, Raw Talk says Daisy Duke
Carter.
and Linda Carter. Wonder Woman.
I know.
Wonder Woman.
We're watching Wonder Woman right now.
Yeah, that show's crazy. My favorite episode from the original Wonder Woman season 3, the one with oh God, what was it? The one with John Carradine. When John Carradine starred in it, he was the corpse, and they buried him.
Oh yeah,
but he was
his
still alive
because
the doctor had removed his brain. So it's a big fish tank with a brain floating in it with an eyeball on top, in a wheelchair, and he was like a powerful psychic. And he had like all his telekinesis and things are flying around the room. It looked like Poltergeist. I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. That's like my favorite one so far. Saturday
A
morning.
Team got a female.
There was a female that came in and out. She was a reporter. She would.
She wasn't a member of the team.
She wasn't like a full-on member. She would bounce in and out, and then they added a fifth member in the final season. The final season wasn't that great, but I think their fourth season was their best. That was a fun show. The fifth season, when they got caught up, and then they were forced to work for the CIA.
Hey, Johnny.
Forced to work for the CIA. It just doesn't work.
He said he did like Lonnie Anderson. That was number 4. JR didn't get killed. He got shot by Sue Ellen's sister.
Mm-hmm.
Ann Jillian and Suzanne Summer always mix them up. Didn't Ann Jillian play a ghost? I don't know who Ann Jillian is.
She was in some like sitcom about like a piano bar. And I can't remember the name of it. I vaguely remember watching it. And Sylvan says the most annoying character on Buck Rogers was the robot. He was always saying "biggie biggie beady beady."
Oh, I liked him. I didn't like that was, on season 2 robot.
They changed his voice.
Yeah, no, the big robot, the one that thought he was like God.
That Mel Blanc did that voice for Tweaky.
Yes, actually, David has the Fat Boys album. I don't have any Fat Boys album. I think David has like 2 or 3. I know for a fact he has one.
The first one is the best one.
Yeah, but I don't have any Fat Boys
album. The best one. Nostalgic says I only have one TV in the home as a kid, so I had to watch Young and the Restless. Oh God, the Young and the Restless.
With Victor Newman.
Oh my God.
Victor Newman and Mickey.
Oh my God. And Richard said Transer Z was the American cut version of Mazinger Z.
I don't know who those people are.
Mazinger.
I know who Mazinger is.
Oh, Sylvan had a crush on ISIS from CBS. CBS Saturday morning live action, the ISIS Shazam Power Hour. Blue Splash, have you seen The Great Garloo from the 60s? Yes, I have. Great Garloo is that's a fantastic
pricey toy. Figure.
Wire controlled, and they also had a Frankenstein.
Dallas had a wow.
Did they?
I didn't know
Saturday
that.
Morning said Dallas had a newspaper strip.
I would buy 6 scale figures of at least JR.
J.R. Ewing. Yep.
Yeah.
Who shot JR?
The quote, who shot JR? If they had if Hot Toys came out with a 6 scale J.R. Ewing, I would get that.
Somebody had a JR because we showed it.
6 scale?
I forget if it was 6 scale. I forget it was 6 scale, but we showed it a few months back. That mess was expensive. They're having a reunion. The surviving members of the show are having some kind of like reunion at some convention. I forget where the hell it's supposed to be.
I think I do remember you saying that.
15 members of the original cast will be present.
Buck Rogers pilot got a big screen release.
As well as Battlestar Galactica.
Guy King, Stargazers,
Starvengers, Grendizer, and Space Gateers. And Space Gateers used to drive me nuts because I thought that princess was manipulating them, even as a child.
Johnny wants to know what were the individual prices on those Dr. Seuss books.
$2 each.
Are you serious? How many books were there?
There's like 6 of them in there or something.
Oh wow!
It was like $1.99 a piece. It's like just put $12 on it and call it a day. Why you got to do that? And if somebody buys one, they're not going to want the rest.
No.
You know what I should have done?
What?
I should have taken the price off of every one except for one and brought that to the register.
No, you put that one on the outside so they'll think it's
because that cashier wouldn't have cared.
And they got self-checkout.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Self-checkout. Oh, get that little 5-finger discount right out the door. No, I wouldn't do that even for a couple of dollars. No.
Robert loved the Wonder Woman, Bionic Woman, Daisy Duke, Aaron Gray as Wilma, Ardala, and Sheba. Number 1 rivalry till this day.
Victor Newman and Jack Abbott.
Yep. Because it used to be John until John died. And then Jack took over. And so him and Jack. The Mazinger that you have is called the Great Mazinger,
Uh-huh.
which was the
Sequel to
sequel.
Mazinger Z, says Richard.
Oh boy, here we
Noonan
go.
went to Best Buy, shocked. Their collector section was actually quite good.
Really?
Of course, the anime figures were the best.
We went there and saw
Haven't
their
been there in a
record
while.
collection, and I was shocked at how nice their record collection was. You remember we went there? They had a lot of records, and different ones too.
And you know who has the best modern vinyl collection for a retail outlet was Barnes and Noble. They had
Yes,
a lot.
we went to a Barnes and Noble. Whoa, it's been a couple of months now, but yeah, theirs was big, and it
Mm-hmm.
was some nice stuff in there. I don't know what the price was, but it was some nice stuff. Can't forget Chrissy and Janet.
Three's Company. Raw Talk says
Naturally
that show
beautiful
was
women.
crazy.
It was. It
It
was
was just, it was
so
just
predictable.
over the top, kind of dumb.
Yeah, Janet and Jack should have got
Jack
together.
tried.
He tried to get with all of them.
Yeah, I know. And Blue Splash saw some Exo Squad, not too expensive sometimes,
It depends on what line they're
and the
from.
condition.
Yeah, because like the Jump Troopers, you can find that in the $30 range, but the other ones are
Mm-hmm.
always over $100.
Yeah.
So it depends on it
Yeah,
depends
just
on what line they're from. So
yeah.
yeah. So
Oh, Munin says there were 5 in the set. Yeah, okay, 5, 5, 6. I liked the set. I would have picked it up, but
yeah.
I was like, they just pissed me off the way that they did that. And that's what a lot of these thrift stores do. And I've seen worse because I've seen also um, Goodwill do the exact same thing.
You
They
know,
did that with a Beatrix Potter set once,
hmm
a small set of books. It was in the box like that, and they priced each one individually. And it's like it's already in the box. It's an obvious box set. What the hell? What the hell is the deal with that?
you know what I noticed at Value Village today? Okay, you know when you get a TV show, it comes in a box. So you might get 5 or 6 discs. You know, they in each individual, but they're in a box. They had each set, each one out in price. They
Mm-hmm.
had them together grouped, but they were all priced separately. And it's like, okay, you knew enough
Huh.
to put them together, but you price them separately. And you know that this is, I don't know, like Who Loves Raymond, and it had like 6 discs in there.
Uh-huh.
But you're gonna put $2 per disc. And it's like, you know this goes together. How stupid can you be?
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
and you wonder why the shelf is always full. We were watching some magazines, and the magazines, what, they were like $2 a piece.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
waited until
Vintage
it
magazines.
got to the, okay, because they have the color, because they got the colors. So you wait for that color to go on 50% off. Then I went back and bought them
Yeah.
because it was like, why can't you why can't you just put a
Price it.
decent price on it? It's a magazine. Your magazines don't sell anyway.
Price it reasonably to begin with, and you can get rid of the shit. I mean,
Right.
that's the idea.
Just like those brat dolls, I will be surprised. I want to see how long those brat dolls sit there.
If they're worth anything, some of them might move when it gets to half price.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
but then I don't know about that, because I've noticed we went to Goodwill once and it was some piece of exercise machine. I can't remember what it was, but it was a piece of exercise machine. It had like a, I don't know, orange tag. It was $100. Like, okay, if we wait for it to go to
oh, I know what
half
you're talking
price,
about. Yeah, yeah.
it'll be 50. The next week, that tag went to orange. They raised the price. Well, no, they switched the tag
Yeah.
and lowered the price. So it was $100 on an orange tag. They moved it to a yellow tag and put like $80 on it. So you wouldn't get the 50% off.
Yeah.
And it's like, You're not gonna sell this stuff. That's why the store is always full. And then at the end of the month, when they have their half off sale, it's only for clothes. It's not everything. It's like maybe if you put everything 50% off, stuff will move.
When I was younger, there was a fixed rate on clothing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All jeans were this much, all
Yeah.
shirts were this much, all t-shirts were this much, like that. And it was unless it was something specific, like coats might have a different price.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, that you get overflow. People are giving you the product for free. So there's no overhead on merchandise. And you have too much. You
Hmm.
got it piled up back there. I worked for a thrift store. I worked for Ambets when I was in Boston, when I still lived in Boston, and they're up to their eyeballs and stuff because people just dump stuff on them. And I mean, how greedy do you need to be? You're getting it for free, give it away,
That's what
or sell it cheap. Sell it
that's
cheap.
that's what Saturday morning is saying. Hey nerd, how are you?
Nerd has joined
And
us.
then when you look in the back room, they are jam packed in that back
They can't
room with
move.
stuff. They can't bring stuff out
You could
because
make enough. You could make the equivalent money in volume if you
mhm,
priced it better.
because they should have a set price. All t-shirts 50 cents,
Hmm.
long sleeve shirts 75 cents, sweaters $1. I don't know, jeans $1. You will move so much stuff you wouldn't be able to keep stuff on the shelf.
Yeah,
Quit going on eBay and say, ooh, this shirt
this is
right here
worth
on
X.
eBay is $50. We're gonna sell ours for 60.
Because if there is something specific that's really valuable, they're going to miss it anyway. They
Mm-hmm.
don't know what they're doing. And then and then again, the Star Wars, the Star Wars Lego set that I saw there, they
Mm-hmm.
had $250 on it. Remember, it's still sitting there. It's not going to move. You don't know if it's complete. You don't know if they did a piece count. They don't know if it's the right pieces. I mean, you don't know. Somebody looked it up, said, "Oh, it's $250 on eBay. Let's put 250 on it." You're in a thrift store, and you did. I guarantee no one counted those pieces.
No.
And like I said, if they did they put it together to make sure that they're right pieces? No.
I bought some connects from there,
Hmm.
and the connects are always cheap. And I just like now they have connects where you can put together like the Ferris wheel and all of these
That Ferris
different
wheel
ones.
is insane.
Yeah, I got enough pieces to do the Ferris wheel. Will I ever do the Ferris wheel? I don't know. I download the plan, the blueprint. But it's like, okay, you put that cheap because you don't know what you're doing. But then you got some Legos, like David said, and you want to put $150 on them,
250,
250 on them.
249.99 for the freaking Lego set. I think I did a short of that too.
I
Because
don't
I'm just
know.
like, and I try to avoid doing too many shorts because I think it kind of hurts the channel, the shorts. I don't think it really helps, like how YouTube tells you.
Yeah,
But whatever. If I run across something while I'm out and I think it's interesting, I'll try to throw it out there just for
yeah,
people to look at to share with the community. Richard says college books 75% off what it would cost, so it would be like 100 or it'd be 25 used.
yeah.
And
Thank
oh,
you.
thank you so much, Stone Sour. He says, let's help our furry friends.
Yes,
They're I really do appreciate it. It helps a
yeah.
lot.
They're always a risk. I have bought. I know they had like the Uno board game.
Hmm.
I did buy that, but I opened it up and I counted all little pieces, and they were there, and that was cheap.
Okay.
And then what they started doing, which I thought was stupid, they'll take the board games and they'll take like 5 board games and tape them together, and then put one price on it. So you have all kind of random board games like a Monopoly and
Yeah.
a vintage Monopoly, then a modern Candyland, and all kind of stuff. And they do that to puzzles too, because it's like, okay, this don't sell, so let's bundle it together so we'll make sure it doesn't sell. Yeah, let's secure this not selling deal by taping everything together.
Johnny wants to know what was the short about the tires. That's an old one.
Oh
There were
yeah.
4 tires, okay? And people didn't understand. They were like, "Oh, the rims alone." And it's like, okay, the rims are worth X. And I'm like, no. Here's the thing: for the rims were scratched up. The tires, 2 of them looked fairly clean, I think, and
Hmm.
the other 2 were completely burned out along one edge. Like somebody had been doing donuts in the car or something, and they ruined their tires, and they just took them all off and left them at Value Village. That's what the short was about, and they had like some insane price on them, like
Yeah.
$500 or something. And like these tires and these rims are ruined.
Yeah, the
They're
rims
ruined.
were all like chipped and dented and cracked and all kinds of stuff.
And it would have been an expensive set of tires,
Hmm.
except that, and it's like, and some of the grooves looked really good, and then you got to like an inside wheel and it's like smooth as a baby's bottom because they had burned it out doing something stupid. I just Munin says, when you and MIB on your live stream, you mentioned every vintage doll sells for dirt cheap. So where does Savers get the balls to charge 100 for modern ones?
Who knows?
They looked something up on eBay and
Or one of the workers say, "Oh, my niece get these brat dolls, and these things are worth a lot,
yeah,
or they're going to be worth a
some
lot."
of them
And
or Monster High, whatever the
whatever,
hell they are.
they're the
But
same thing.
some of them have a value. Some of them do have a value. It's like anything else. But pinpointing how much each one is worth, and even if it is worth $100, do you want to spend $100 for it at Savers? No, you don't.
No,
You don't want to spend that much at a thrift store. It's a freaking thrift store.
you don't want to spend $100 for nothing. I'm serious. When you go
Oh,
to a thrift store, you're thinking you going into this store and I'm going to get a deal on something. It's supposed to be for people that's in need, for people that don't have a lot of money, so they buy used things because they can't afford to go to a Macy's or a Ashley
and you've got the
Furniture or
coconuts to
something.
charge me retail.
Yeah, I may as well go down to Macy's and buy a brand new outfit because that's what I'm gonna pay coming here, or
And then,
go down to Ashley and buy that furniture
oh
because
my God.
yours costs the same amount and it's cheap and it's cheaply
And
made.
then they have the nerve. What's Goodwill's slogan? Let the treasure hunt begin.
And half the stuff broke.
Or overpriced.
And
And there's a lot of broken stuff in there. I
then they tell you can't bring it back. The only thing you can
No, you
bring
can't
back is
return it.
clothes.
You can't return it.
It's like, why you want the clothes back but not this broke fan?
Yeah, all of them too, because Value Village was like that too. You better make damn sure that those electronic components are working if you're going to buy anything electronic in those places. Frankenfrog says shorts are good for YouTube, but not the creator. I have shorts that blew up and gave me 0. Yeah, subscriber. Yeah, you're not making anything from the shorts. They like it, but yeah, I don't think it really helps the channel at all. But if I spot something I think is interesting, just to share with the community, I'll throw it out there.
Yeah, and they do that too with toys. So they'll have like those small toys and they'll
Oh
put them
yeah,
in a bag.
they fill a sack full of garbage,
Yeah.
and you're like in the bags, like at Goodwill. I mean, at least Value Village, at least Value Village puts it in a small bag. No, not Goodwill. It's like a damn garbage bag, a transparent garbage bag, weighs like 30 pounds. And you got it, and you're like turning it like this, trying to see if there's a hidden gem in there. And there better be for like $39.95. Oh, maybe there's a Star Wars figure in here, or maybe there's no, they ain't shit in that bag. Okay.
But the part again that really gets me, the purpose. Well, okay, I think, because I don't know if this is the purpose of a thrift store, but I think the purpose of a thrift store is for people that don't have a lot of money to be able to go in and buy stuff cheap for
Mhm.
their family, clothes, shoes, furniture, whatever. But when you're charging the same price as the store, brand new. Why do I need to come there? I don't know.
Yeah.
I could go to
That's
Walmart.
you could. You could. And that, my famous story about the speak and spell, because they really don't know what they're doing.
No.
And I've told this story before. Some of you probably heard it. That at one of the Goodwills, it was a speak and spell. They had $50 on the damn thing, 49.98 or whatever the hell they wrote on it. And I was like, that doesn't look right. Then I took a look at the speak and spell, and I was like, this is the repro speak and spell that they sell at Target for $12.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a vintage speak and spell. This and the person at the counter was like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't.
But then that's one thing David do. I don't understand why he does that. He go in the store and he tells the people what's what. And it's like, it's not like they can even do anything about it or they even care. So why are you wasting your time and your energy and breath?
You cared when it was that record player.
No, I didn't care until that guy said it worked.
See?
And I said, how do you know it doesn't have a needle?
Yeah, because this is the
He
thing.
said he tested it.
He said, oh, I tested it. That thing works great. And then, we had just looked at it, and the needle housing wasn't even in there.
No.
It was completely gutted. And it's like, there's no way he could have tested this thing.
Right, but I never would have asked him. He volunteered the information. Oh, yeah, that worked good. I just tested it. It don't have a needle. What did you test? He saw that it spun.
Yeah.
So, and he was old.
Oh, snap. $50.
Yeah, and he was old enough to know, because this guy was older. So he was old enough to know, okay, it spins, but let me get any old record.
They have
and
a ton of
put
them.
it on the thing and see if it works.
Mm-hmm.
He just turned it on, so if he even turned it on.
Johnny wants to know if I would wear Macho Man glasses.
No, if I would wear it.
Oh, would you?
I don't know.
Do they make them?
Hey, of course they make
them.
them.
Blue Splash just now got a notification for this video.
Okay.
See? Thanks, YouTube. Thanks for being on top of that.
To the point where buying brand new anything will be cheaper than, you're right about that.
Look, because every once in a while, you run across something and you're like, wow, that's pretty good. Or I could use that, or that's a good price. It surprises you every once in a while. It surprises you because something slips through the cracks. It's not like in the old days. Because when I used to go to the thrift stores in the 90s, I'd find stuff that would blow your socks off because they didn't care. They just threw a price on it. And you could find all kinds of great vintage items at the thrift stores. I mean, I found an Eloise doll once. I forget who manufactured her, but an Eloise doll. And I don't know what they go for now, based on the original storybook from the 50s. And Custom God is here.
Hey, because he said that used to be the purpose
of a thrift store.
Not now.
And it was the retail on that was damn near $500 because not very many Eloise dolls have survived. And I think it was like 99 cents at this thrift store. It's like, oh my God, that's a great price. But things like that, I could have luck like that almost every day because I used to go to the thrift stores in that little area, that little circle where I lived in Alston, almost daily, and every day. I mean, I had to be careful because I was like, God, I'm going to be up to my eyeballs and stuff. But nowadays, no, that's not. And that Richard says that's what they do. They look on eBay, and that's what their so-called expert does. It makes me think of Ali G, the movie, where the three guys, if any of you have seen it, he says, I'm going to call some of my friends, they as experts, to come down here. And then three friends show up in lab coats. We as experts, Ali G be expecting us. You'd have to see the scene. You'd have to know the film.
But this one right here, I know Goodwill goes to this stuff because they have a Goodwill auction.
Yeah, Goodwill has an auction house.
If you go to the Goodwill website, they have an auction house where they have pulled the most expensive stuff and they auction it off. Not at starting at 50 cents. They auctioning off for a lot. So yeah, they go through their stuff and they know what's what, and they auction it off for a big hefty price.
Yeah, Raccoon has joined us there.
Yeah, he was trying to. Hey, raccoon. Yeah, he was trying to pull a okey doke on that record player. That's why I
Yeah.
left it there. Buy a record player with no needle, and then tell me it works.
Richard says he saw a video just before us. Girls were garbage hunting and found a lot of vintage Star Wars and He-Man.
Oh,
Are
good
you
for
sure it
them.
wasn't planted there?
Probably. Hey, Q camera.
Q
It's Q
Q
camera.
Camaro? Camaro.
Oh, it's Q Camaro.
Okay.
11.
$30 for Street Sharks in a bag is a good deal.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
deal.
that's not bad. Because yeah, you can find stuff sometimes that'll
Yeah,
surprise you. But
like
it's hard anymore.
the Savers by us, they got a lot of candles that were never burned at all, and they'll sell that for $2 and $3.
You know,
And it's the big ones
the
that you
scented
would,
candles,
yeah,
like
it's the big ones that you would buy for like $14, $15.
yeah,
They'll have it for $2 and $3. So I'll get those because that's a good deal. It's like,
yeah.
okay, y'all did something right here, but not when you selling me some broken down toys. And I do like to look through their records because even at $2, depending on what it is, it could be worth it.
Yeah, sometimes
But
those will
still,
surprise you
it need
because
to be 50 cents.
that's you remember because Value Village had that pricing scheme where records were $2.99.
No, it was
But
depending on the size.
but yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
The 45s were $3.99
Yes.
because 45s are more valuable. Like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not. The 45s are harder to get rid of. Unless it's something specific, because there are some that are quite valuable, but you've got to know the difference, and they don't know. And then the cashier doesn't know the difference between a 45 and a 33 anyway.
Yeah.
Because that means the RPM, not the size of the album.
And then
45 means it's the big one, right? No.
But see, David can't just say, because they'll ask you, which one is this? Is this a 33 or a 45? I'll say is a 33. David goes into the whole, that's a 33 because the RPMs, and the girl is looking like, yeah, okay, 33, and ring it up. But I know one day I went in there and I got a DVD. And the girl said, is this a VHS? And I said, no, that's a DVD. She rang it up as a VHS.
Yeah.
Didn't matter to me because the VHS was 25 cents. But I told her, no, that's a DVD.
Because these kids don't know.
They don't know the difference.
They stream everything now. They stream everything now.
Oh, really? Diamond Select is out of business? I haven't heard
that. I know they were having some trouble. I know they were having a lot of trouble.
Oh, there was broken figures and a big old real Ghostbusters firehouse with figures in it. No, it looks like someone just came by and swiped a whole vintage collection,
says Richard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. And I've also found at a thrift store, and that was in Illinois, though, I found components for the Eternia playset from from the Masters of the Universe.
At a good Savers.
Yeah, which I gave to my son.
Yeah.
They didn't know what it was. They had a price like $1 a piece.
Yeah.
And he was into that and he wanted it. And
yeah.
So yeah, okay, I let him have it because it was just a couple of building pieces. It was not any of the little bits, but that's worth quite a bit more than $1.
Yeah. K-Mune is taking on your philosophy of target of opportunity.
Saturday morning wants to know if we have Fraggle Rock. No, I don't have any Fraggle Rock toys. I've got the Fraggle Rock puppet show on DVD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't know the difference. How to not know the difference?
And it says
it on it. But the people at Value Village or Savers, whatever, because it's the same people. When they changed the store, they took the same workers. Yeah. They're only like 18, 19 years old. So they don't know. I mean,
these young kids, they don't know anything. They don't. I mean, if you stop and for a moment, you think about it, and you look at us and the people that are probably in the mostly in the age range of what's watching this right now, you realize that you're of the last generations of people to know what life is like prior to any type of social media,
Mm-hmm.
or the intervention of any type of electronic devices, because we didn't have cell phones. If you were lucky, you had a pager even in the late 80s,
Yeah.
early 90s. I had a pager in the early
I have
90s
never had a pager.
because I was on and popping. But anyways, the no, we're the last generation to experience growing up and living without that. And now we have this generation of people coming up who do not know a lot of basics,
Mm-hmm.
the things that are basic to us. And it really does actually put them at a disadvantage because they learn less and less. They're a nation of button pushers that don't know how things actually work and don't know how to incorporate things. I talked about this with my juvenile justice experience when I worked for the juvenile justice department, and we had the life skills classes. Clients,
Mm-hmm.
teenage clients who couldn't sweep. They didn't know how to broom work. They'd stand there and pull the broom, the dust on the floor between their feet. They didn't know how a mop worked. They couldn't really operate a microwave properly. They couldn't cook food. They couldn't do anything. Kids that are getting ready to graduate high school, no fun, couldn't operate a can opener, and just basic things like this to show them so they wouldn't go out and die. It's crazy. But at the same time, this generation of people will meticulously keep records, audio visual records of every boring, mediocre aspect of their life, going around filming their meal at Wendy's, and like, yeah, I'm all up at Wendy's, y'all, and here we go. Oh, check this burger out. Know what I'm saying? And they're like this all day. And you know, and they're how could they possibly know the difference between a VHS cassette and a DVD disc, even if it does say it on the package?
Hey, Sloppy Joe.
They can't pay attention that long.
No.
You know, I know I went on a little
Yeah.
bunny trail there, but yeah, it's just seriously, we're the last ones, folks.
Johnny remember his first color TV.
Yeah, me too. I found it. I actually found it.
Oh
I
no.
I think it was stolen. I was in the woods, and true story, I was in the woods. Not a Joe Biden true story,
Oh.
an actual true story. But I was in a wooded area in Brighton where we were living, and there was a big, like 25-inch color television. We'd never had a color TV before. A big 25-inch color television, and there was a stereo set. It was just sitting there in the woods, and it didn't look old. And I was like, "Holy crap!" And I knew an older, bigger kid. I must have been 12, and I knew an older, bigger kid, and I ran to him and I said to him, "Hey, if I told you I knew, because I didn't think I could carry the stuff
Hey,
by myself.
MIB.
MIB is here. I couldn't carry either piece by myself. You know how much a 25-inch color TV weighed in like the early 80s? Forget it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted that. And I said, if I knew there was like a stereo and a TV, would you help me carry them out? And I'll keep the TV and you can have the stereo. And he was like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm serious." Because he was much older than me. He was bigger. And I figured, hey, you could help me carry this stuff. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll show you." And we made the deal. And we carried the TV back and brought it to my mother's apartment. And then we carried the stereo stuff back and brought it to his apartment. And it was like, okay, cool. But I mean, looking back, that had to have been stolen and dumped there and left behind or something. But that's the first time I ever had a color TV, all I ever had was like a 13-inch black and white with the antennas broken off, and then you'd have to turn and pray.
I didn't realize cassette tapes were coming back, but I know I've seen boom boxes on like Amazon and stuff like that. but I haven't seen cassettes. But then I don't go over there in that section. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll go to Walmart and I'll glance at
I
the
haven't seen any
record.
cassettes in Walmart.
Me neither. But I'll glance at the records. But the way they got them organized is not organized. It's just kind of on there, and you
Yeah.
got and they're tight, and you got to pull it out. So, plus I know it's not going to be artists I want, and I would rather have the original, unless
Yeah, we
it's
go
a
to the record shows, and it's
yeah,
sometimes most of the time it's cheaper.
unless it's the picture disc. Like I bought the Who picture disc,
Uh
and I
huh.
bought the 50th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon. I did buy that. Um, but I don't really buy new records. Now, Michael Jackson, I might get because his stuff is expensive, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know they were redoing or cassette tapes were popular again. I didn't know that. After having black and white TV for so long, when you get your first color TV, it's like a new world has opened up to you. Kids today will never experience
Says
what is
Johnny.
truly
You know what
life.
was insulting too was when you watched like Spider-Man, for example, the 1967 Spider-Man cartoon, and it says in color, but the letters would come on one at a time,
In
C
color,
O
yeah.
L O R, and it's all gray because you're watching a black and white set. Or
Yeah.
Batman, the 66 Batman in color. Sure. For some
Really?
people,
Saturday morning said they have two
really.
video rentals open back up this year, and they rent VHS and DVDs and records.
Huh.
Wow. That's cool.
Johnny hoped my mother didn't get upset. Oh no, she didn't care. As far as she was concerned, it was hers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. If Robert wanted to know if it worked, it was perfect working condition.
Wow. When
And
I was a kid, my TV weighed more than me.
yeah,
Yeah. There was a piece of furniture. You could stand up on top of that TV, sounded safe.
those things were expensive as hell. They cost more than the ones now, and the screens were smaller.
Are back. Wow. While DVDs are dying. Welcome back to the
DVDs
80s.
will come back around.
Yeah, everything goes
Yeah.
around in cycles. They're making
I
high
don't know
def
about that,
reel
Tommy.
to reel records. The reboot of Twilight Zone had an option to watch it in black and white. And it actually, you mean the new one that came out like a couple of years ago with that guy? What was the
I
guy name?
forget.
The black guy. I
Um,
don't know his name.
I don't remember.
Mm.
I do not
I think
remember.
that's what he's talking about. If you had an option, because the original one definitely was in black and white. So it
Sure.
must be that one. I moved out of my parents' house in 88 when I was 22, and that was the first time I lived with color
Says
television.
custom god. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because that's how it was for us. I mean, color TV been around officially full on since the 60s,
Mm-hmm.
but no, most people couldn't afford it.
Yeah, Jordan Peele. That's
Jordan
his
Peele.
name.
Yeah, most people could not afford something like that. It just was out of the question. Even a black and white set was expensive. I mean, you see the in the catalogs, for example, and I had done a walkthrough of a J.C. Penney catalog from the 80s a long time ago. Look how much that stuff is, a microwave oven or a TV. You've been hundreds, even 1,000 or more for something like that. And they're not that big.
Yeah, but furniture stores just like now, you paid on that stuff. So yeah, it was $800, but
Yeah.
you paid $20 a week or something, or $50 a
Yeah,
month.
some places had a payment plan or a
Yeah,
layaway plan or something like that.
yeah. The ones around us had payment plans because I know that's the only way my grandparents got that big old floor model TV. I never thought about it until we looked through that Sears catalog and I saw how much it was. I was like, how in the world did they afford that? But then I remembered
Yeah.
Farina Furniture. I think that even as a kid, I knew that place was a ripoff because everybody went there. It was like we were in a small town, and it was like the only furniture store And everybody that went in there had a payment plan. You got your furniture and you had to go to Farina every however often
So
you
if you
paid
can't
on it.
pay it, they'll come and get it back.
Yep, you paid on that furniture or Western Auto because we had a Western Auto,
Excuse me.
and Western Auto had a payment plan, and you can buy stuff from Western Auto.
Yeah, like modern day errands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Aaron's does that, yeah, and it's too expensive. It'll end up costing you a lot more in the long run. End up costing you a lot more in the long run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It is. I bought a TV from Aaron's once. Oh God, I don't. I wanted a TV so bad, and I bought me a TV from Aaron. And I knew it when I went in there that TV was gonna be too much. I bought it, paid it off, and everything. And I was like, never again will I do
yeah. I know somebody that used to do that constantly,
that.
but just get everything in places like Aaron's, and I'm like, oh, it's just such a bad idea. Uh,
Blue Spat said New York City had a record store that he walked in completely packed with people. Did see the price uh, range was $20 to $50. Hendrix, Michael Jackson,
sure.
etc.
But you see how it is if for those of you who have watched the tours of the record shows,
Yeah.
they're pretty busy and there is a pretty good range of ages, surprisingly. You know, it's not like when you go to the comic shows and it's all older folks. In the record show,
Okay.
there's a pretty surprisingly open group of people.
Mm-hmm.
We saw at the last show, and I had pointed it out during that live walkthrough, even
Mm-hmm.
that they had kids that were like, they looked like they were adolescent that were, you know, with a parent. And they had a bag, they had a record bag, and they were looking for a certain vinyl. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, wow, they're into it. And that's just nice to see.
That Ann Jillian y'all were talking about, Raccoon Eye says the name of that movie is Jennifer Slept Here.
Should as a sitcom,
No,
TV
okay.
show,
I
yeah.
don't know.
I, I I barely remember some of that stuff. I can't remember all of it. Raw Talk says he used to envision color Batman 66 and 79, but when we got our Zenith floor model, it was epic watching all the reruns. I bet. I bet. And yeah, it was a piece of furniture in that big wooden cabinet, weighed 250 freaking pounds, and it was on the casters.
David got that old TV free.
I have one. I
Yes.
have one. We were at an estate sale,
Yes.
and
It
while
was
we were
free.
walking around, it had a sticker on it that said free. And I went and I was like, is that actually free? And they were like, yeah, anybody who can get that thing out of here, they can have it. And we hauled it out and put it in the truck, and it works. It
Yeah,
works.
because we plugged it up while we
Yeah.
were there. I mean, all you saw was ash.
Yeah.
But
Because
we
there is
plugged it
no
up,
more
it came
analog
on.
signal.
Yeah.
But, you know, what are you going to do?
So you got to get a VCR and plug it up so you can watch VCR.
I could put an old Atari on it.
Yeah.
Something
You can
like
even
that.
put a DVD, the older DVD player
Mhm.
of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can watch VCR tapes if you can find them cheap enough, because you sure won't get it at Value Village.
It's
or
sitting in the
thing.
garage right now because we can't
Yeah.
put it anywhere. But
No.
yeah, but that's a piece. I was like, oh, it's a piece of history, and it fits. It's so vintage. It's so 70s/80s.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of the younger people are gravitating to the older music now.
Yes, it's muted because it's
Hmm.
better than the modern stuff, and I've talked about that before. Yeah, we're still watching '66 Batman, Johnny.
Yeah.
The
Raw Talk need that TV.
people, the argument that I've heard is that, well, if the reason that older people don't like the modern music is because people usually only like the music that's from the era they grew up in, and I'm like, no, that's not true. I digress from that. Oh, MIB got their first color television in 1975. You lucky dog. Yeah.
I always remember color TV. I mean, but I was born in 77.
Okay.
So by the time I can remember TV was in the 80s, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was color. 'Cause my dad was into that. He wasn't gonna have no black and white TV.
But the thing of it is, if if it was true that people only like the music from the era that they grew up in, then people wouldn't like older music at all. And so us being primarily 80s kids, I know I grew up in the 70s also, but I wasn't really listening to music until the 80s, right? So that would be our wheelhouse. We wouldn't like 90s music. We wouldn't like 70s or
Hmm.
60s or 50s or even 40s music.
I don't
And
know about 40s.
you like some, depends on what it is.
I
And we
guess.
do. And that goes for a lot of other people as well. And there are people, Warren likes 50s stuff, you know,
Hmm.
and he's in his 20s. So it's like that wouldn't be true. Maybe they just like it because, oh, I don't know, it was better. It had more imagination. It
Yeah.
had better writing. You could understand what people were singing. I mean, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Saturday Morning said the mother played every era, so they grew up in everything 60s to 80s and new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert said most music I like 70s to 2000s with some 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a lot of doo wop, and I do want more. And I
Hmm.
know some of the songs, but I got to figure out who sings what.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'll get doo wop compilations. Because I do like doo wop, but I don't know who sing. But I do have some compilations. The 80s was awesome.
Period.
Yeah, because
According to Raw Talk,
the
I can't argue with you
the
too much
80s
there.
is the only time period with its own, like, everything is like 80s music,
Yeah.
80s movies, 80, and everything is like, oh, I like these movies, or I like this. But then 80s had like its own,
I
like cubby hole.
I've talked about it before. I think that all forms of entertainment kind of peaked in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And the 70s it was getting real good. And then, you can see it gradually getting better and better, 60s, 70s, 80s, right? And then in the 90s it was still okay, but you could feel it kind of dipping.
Yeah.
And so it was like, a roller coaster ride where everything is going up, 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 up into the 80s, and then it started to come down, and now we're going down again. Because I mean, look, when was the best wrestling? The 80s. When did you get some of the best films? Late 70s to mid 80s. When did you get some of the best toy lines? Late 70s to mid 80s. With some exception, you can see the exceptions. You can see the buildup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, you can't knock 60s GI Joe. It's fantastic, but it culminates. I think most entertainment value culminates right in the
See you,
80s.
Johnny.
Uh
Thank you for
oh,
stopping by.
it culminates in the 80s, and then the 90s. You still have some of that, but you can feel it trailing off, and we get less and less and less now. It's like in the 80s film, everything looked like a blockbuster practically.
Hmm.
Now you can't find one. Rarely something hits, and then they beat it to death. Like
Yeah.
Iron Man, the original Iron Man film. That was a really good film. They just couldn't leave it alone. They come out with a next one and a next one, and each one is less than the last one because they just can't recapture it. Why didn't you just leave it where it was? Um, I don't know. And sometimes that happens. RoboCop is an example. RoboCop 1 and 2, really good films. 3, not so much.
Hmm.
But what are you going to do? Saturday Morning says
Oh.
2000s is the big thing right now, the big nostalgia. Even the 2000s clothes are big again. Are people going to start wearing Jinko jeans again?
That's Jinko jeans.
The super big baggy pants that people were wearing, the
Um,
skateboarders.
with all those zippers.
Yeah. Johnny says, I grew up listening to my dad's music in the 70s on his giant floor model record player. Sam Cooke, Ohio Players, Temptations, Stylistics, Marvin Gaye.
I remember my dad used to play that, and I hated it.
Which one?
Oh, he used to play any music he liked
Oh,
because it was
he
old.
liked. Okay.
Like all of this Sam Cooke and the
Oh, no.
Temptations, and but now I love it. I love hearing that.
Okay.
But growing up, I didn't want to hear it all. I thought it was old people music. Why you want to hear that? Let's listen to the stuff. At that age, that's what I was listening to. So that's what I like. But as I grew up, because somebody else said that, I think it was Custom God. Somebody else said it. Yeah, I think it was. Oh, it was
Yeah, yeah,
Camaro. As you grow up, your tastes change, everything gets different, it gets
yeah.
more refined. But at that age, you like what's out because it's on the radio and all of that. Then you get older and you're introduced to new things, different things, and like, oh, okay, I do like this. You go around different people that are not like you and they listening to something else. And you're like, okay, that's not bad. I can listen to that. And then you start listening to that, then you grow up, you move around, you go to different places. So you evolve. But I think some people refuse to evolve
Hmm.
and they refuse to allow anything new to come into their space. And I think that's sad. It hinders and stunts your growth.
Yeah.
At 5 years old, I was already well versed in R&B soul music.
Says Johnny.
I was well versed in gospel music because every day after the news went off, my grandmama would play the radio and she listened to this gospel station until 12:30 when Young and the Restless came on. Then the radio went off and it stayed off until 4 o'clock when all of the stories went off. And then the radio came back on. And all she listened to, we had this one gospel station in the town we were from. I know I keep bumping
I
the thing.
know, easy.
And that's all we listened to. So growing up, when I was
Yeah.
at her house, we listened to gospel music. When I was at home, I listened to whatever popular station was on. A lot of my records are from the library that I volunteered at, and they cost me $1. I got like 30 of them. My wife got me into jazz. Oh, I can't get now
According
that
to Richard.
I cannot get into jazz. That is one type of music I cannot get into at all.
Hmm.
Is jazz.
Oh, well, it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that, but
Yeah. And that you, well, at least it ain't Dixieland. You know who liked Dixieland jazz?
who?
Droopy the dog.
Oh, ragtime racists play that song, do that?
No. You remember Droopy, when we watched the Droopy, and they had the one where he had the fleas who
Mm-hmm.
played Dixieland jazz?
Yeah, isn't that ragtime racists play that song, do that?
No.
Oh,
No, it is not.
oh,
That's an entirely different era.
no.
How are you gonna mix that up?
I don't know.
Droopy was funny too.
Yeah, it was.
There's only 20, There's only 20 Droopy cartoons in total, I think. People, it feels like a lot more because they mixed it in with Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few you probably never saw when you were a kid because they're pretty racy. But they were all movie shorts anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny says he got in trouble all the time because he'd be in the bedroom dancing on his bed. His dad wanted me to go to bed, and the super soulful sounds kept me up. Let me dance on the bed, Johnny, and wear the springs out. You know what? I would have let you wear that bed out and then sleep in that mess.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sleep in that pit where all the springs are broken, Johnny. Good. There you go. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I remember the Stylistics at 5 years old. My mom had their album and played it all the time. Did you know Quincy Jones started off in jazz?
Richard asks.
I did know that. I did know that.
But I don't remember.
Yeah, he died recently.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Everybody's dying recently. George Wendt just died.
I don't know who George Wendt is.
Yeah, Dixieland Droopy was the short, says Saturday Morning Fan.
Oh, okay.
The George Wendt, Norm.
Oh, okay. He died?
75. Yeah, he just died.
Mm.
I had seen him the last time I saw George Wendt was actually at the new theater in
we went
Lawrenceville.
there.
That's right. We saw him because I had the table right up right up front. The new theater, which is a dinner theater, and they got great food in Lawrenceville, Kansas, when I was still living in Kansas. And he was playing Oscar Madison in the stage production of The Odd Couple. The Odd Couple.
Yeah, you're right about that, Raw Talk. How 80s B, C, D, E, F, and G movies were way better
Oh,
than the
please,
current
yeah. I know it.
blockbusters. You're right about that.
You know what the best B movie of all time from the 80s?
Yeah,
What
the
is it?
karate movie.
What is it?
The black one.
Oh, please. Yeah, the black
Dragon.
one. The
The
Last
Last Dragon.
Dragon.
I couldn't
The
think of the
Last Dragon.
name.
That movie is outstanding.
Yeah.
And then the actor who played Sho'nuff,
Didn't know Kung Fu
he
at
did
all.
not know any martial arts, one, and two, refused to get out of character. So he drove in there like that. He was in the lunch line at the buffet like that. He stayed as Sho'nuff, mouthing off at people and whatever, because he was a character actor. So
Wasn't he like a Broadway actor? Hey Jesse, how are
I
you?
forget.
We saw the thing about him, and it was funny because yeah,
He was driving everybody nuts, but
he
tell-
got into that character.
tell me he didn't play that character. That character is classic.
He did. He played the heck out of that character.
Oh my
and
god.
didn't know an ounce of kung fu.
Yeah, that's right. Leroy.
Yeah, Bruce Leroy.
When I say who's the master, you say Sho'nuff. He was hilarious.
No, it was no figures. I would get
No,
a 1/6
I don't think they
scale
made
of
anything.
Sho'nuff and Bruce Leroy. I would get
Bruce
that.
Leroy.
That was his name, Bruce Leroy.
Yeah, that's right.
It was Bruce Leroy. I would get that
And-
1/6 scale figure.
And the producer from that movie, one of the best evil 80s villains ever, because he was such a bastard. He really was. Remember the girl that was working for him?
Yeah.
He was such a greasy bastard. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh man, he's awful. Sho'nuff at least had a purpose. About being the best.
My
You know?
taste in music also got me in a lot of trouble, not trouble, but people didn't like it where I grew up, my family members, because I listened to the pop station also.
Okay.
So I listened to both the pop station and the R&B station. I listened to both. And I liked the pop music. I knew all my famous songs. I knew the artists. I liked that. But I also liked the R&B station, and they couldn't understand something was wrong with me. So, but that's how it is when you grow up in certain places.
Oh, cute.
If you could only keep one item, oh no.
That's hard to say.
Yeah.
That's really hard to say because you love different things for different reasons. So, I mean, how do you put an emotional price on any of it?
There's a few more. Pastor Rick in his early 30s got the big band Glenn Miller and some classic Moonlight Sonata along with some more. So you like that type of music.
Okay.
Okay.
Johnny wants to watch see, it's contagious.
That is a good movie. Now that is one movie I can watch often. I can see that once a month and be okay.
Man.
It's some
Excuse
movies
me.
you can watch often and
Yeah.
it's okay. It's other movies, it's like you can watch once a year, some every 10 years, some once, and that's all. But that one you can watch once a month.
You know what's
I
a
think.
good underrated B film from the 80s?
What?
Silent Fury.
Oh, that's that Chuck Norris. We
It's
just
Chuck
saw
Norris
that the
film,
other day.
Silent Fury. And it's such a great concept for a film. And it's a real low budget, starring Chuck Norris,
Mhm.
obviously, as a sheriff. And if you've never seen it, it's kind of delves into the horror concept. It's almost like his only horror film, where the guy they have this psychotic who dies, but it's a medical college and they want to test an experimental drug on his corpse for a reaction, and he comes back to life. But
Really?
he's an insane um, homicidal maniac, and Chuck eventually has to confront him. But it's such a it's actually a really well done film. I think it's kind of a fun watch.
Dr. Demento
Oh,
plays.
Dr. Demento, yeah, that's how Weird Al first got famous.
David, are you trying to get decomposed on the card or loose?
In the box, he's one of the deluxe ones. He's one of like the what 13-inch. So he's in a big box.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, Rhythm of the Night. That's right, by El DeBarge.
that's right.
By DeBarge.
Because all of mine are mint on the card or boxed. The I need Liquidator on the card and Decompose in the box to complete that. Just the last two pieces. Yeah, that's another good one. Raw Talk, Blind Fury with Rutger Hauer. That was a fun one. That's a pretty good film. And there's two cuts of that film because I've noticed on certain discs or on certain VHS, the scene in the casino was cut because there's a scene where he is blind, but he's like a master swordsman.
I saw Blind Fury.
Yeah, they're cheating at the roulette table, and he flips the table over, and you can see magnets under it, and then the whole place goes bonkers because they're cheating us, which he did on purpose to cause problems. But that scene is often cut from the disc.
I never seen any of those movies.
Solar Babies?
Solar Babies, Lady in White, Megaforce, Cloak and Dagger, Making Contact.
Yeah, I've seen Megaforce. Megaforce is goofy.
I had a radio in my bedroom and I would listen to Light Rock Channel. Me too. They had a lady named Delilah.
Johnny, when the hell did you sleep?
He said last week he was a vampire.
Yeah.
He was a vampire from birth.
Oh, I see. It's like, when did you sleep? In class?
And but they had Delilah. I used to like her. I don't know if she's still around, but people would write in or call in and tell them their little love story or whatever, and then she would play a song fitting to whatever the story is. You don't request the song, you just tell her your little story. Oh, I'm in love. Oh, Betty left me, whatever.
So she had a list already prepared and pretended to match songs to callers. Gotcha.
Whatever. She played them songs. I used to like her, Delilah.
Richard said there is a show enough figure. See what you've done?
Now I gotta go find it.
Oh no.
I'm not. The Barge is I like them.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got all, but I got a lot of their records.
His best song is All This Love.
Yeah. And then his two brothers was with Switch. They sang with Switch. Cloak and Dagger is first video game.
I know what that
movie.
is now. I know what that is now. Yeah.
So you know what that is.
Is that the one where teams up with a ghost of a secret agent to fight spies? I do remember that now.
Oh, okay. Robert knows Delilah. Vampire, David. That's right. He was born a vampire. He was a vampire from birth. The Warriors is an ultimate classic. Solar Babies is kids on roller skates fighting evil with an orb alien in the future.
I don't remember that one.
Lame.
I don't remember that one. But
who got in trouble?
Oh, because he mentioned the show enough figure. See? Because now she's gonna want to try to find it.
I'm not gonna look. I am not gonna even look. I'm gonna just forget you said anything.
Oh no, it's okay. Show enough. Who's the master?
Because it's not gonna be 1/6 scale, so it wouldn't matter. You would have to get that head custom made, a custom made Bruce Leroy head and a custom made Shonuff head. That's the only way you're gonna get it in 1/6 scale, so it doesn't matter. So I like Switch, and I think I got like all of their records. Switch was really good, especially Girls.
Oh yeah.
I love that song. Calling All Girls. That was the name of the song. Calling All Girls, I think, was their one of their best.
There's a lot to pick from them. Oh, you could go on and on about
What?
movies and music all night.
I know. Frankie Frog said Delilah sounds like Bart
Oh
Simpson.
yeah. Well, Bart Simpson is voiced by a female,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
or was,
Was.
because I think she quit.
Or
Finally,
died.
did she?
I don't
I
know.
don't know, but yeah, it hasn't been the same since Disney bought it. Disney is the franchise killer. They buy franchises just to destroy them. I think, give them their last rights.
Was it the night of the comics was the when those people were locked up in the radio station? Wasn't that night of the comics? It was
Comment, yeah, yeah.
night of the
That sounds
comics.
familiar. And then they were in a shopping mall.
It was like they sought refuge. I think they were like at a movie and then sought refuge and they ended up in not movie, a record a
It's a
radio
radio station.
station. And I don't know.
Radio station.
Yeah.
Robert says she probably retired.
Yeah, she was everywhere. She was nationally syndicated.
Yeah.
Saddest thing hearing a voice actor was retiring.
Oh, she probably tired.
Yeah.
Blue Splash wants to know if I see humanoids at show. You don't even see them loose.
No, you don't
really
see him at all.
You don't even see them loose.
Yes, I call your name. That was a good one.
And humanoids is really, really hard, especially carded. In humanoids, Silverhawks have gotten to be very hard to find on the card.
Hey, Shelby.
Oh, Shelby's here. Ice Pirates. I saw that in the theater.
I like cheesy movies.
Yeah.
I love, especially, it seems like the 70s and 80s were the time for cheesy movies. I love cheesy movies, especially the 90s and 2000 disaster films. Cheesy disaster films are the best.
The best disaster film was the made-for-TV Earthquake from the 70s.
Earthquake was good. But that wasn't cheesy,
earthquake scene in any film history. It must have been 13 minutes long.
It was long.
And they really demolished a Hollywood studio set to do it. I mean, you saw...
Yeah.
They showed you every bit of buildings collapsing and streets cracking.
Yeah.
And it was all practical effects. It wasn't models.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, the budget on this must have been insane.
Yeah, but it's not cheesy though.
No, it's not cheesy.
The cheesier the better. Like you see asteroid about to hit Earth and it's one scientist or professor that's washed up and has been discredited but they're the only person on Earth that knows how to stop it, and you got to stop it with a nuclear bomb, and
which wouldn't work in real life.
And then half of the Earth is destroyed, and at the last minute, 5 minutes before the asteroid hits the Earth, they blow it up, and all of this and that. Those are the best. I love that. Delilah was a lot like Casey. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, she was. She was good.
Krull and the spinning glaive. Yeah. Johnny says he went back to Big Fun Toys, found a ton of Playmates Star Trek.
Ooh.
Super cheap, of course. Yeah, because the Playmates Star Trek used to sell really well, but it's really fallen off. And it's a good, if you're into that, it's a good line. But Johnny, that's a big can of worms. Just not even the play sets or accessories, just the figures. Playmates made 420 of them. Okay. He says they aren't popular anymore, but he loves the line. Sure, why not? And it's inexpensive. But Brave Star, you never see Brave Star at the shows. You never see carded LJN anything.
We see Brave Star
boxed.
Yeah, it's usually the same figures.
It's always the same too.
Yeah, it's always the same ones, but you see them.
The glaive, Richard. Yes, the glaive of Kull, where it's like a big giant throwing star. Knives come out of it. It's pretty funny. They never made one officially. Everybody always expected them to make that. It's been done custom, but never an official glaive has been made.
Cheesiest.
Yeah, Ice Pirates was ridiculous. I think Ron Perlman was in that too.
I don't think I've seen Ice Pirates.
I saw it in the theater.
Beastmaster 3.
Ugh, really?
Toy Federation has yeah,
That
Toy Federation in South
if I want to
Carolina.
pay twice as much for it, just
Oh, they had sugar
oh
waters
wow,
loose, but still, so
yeah,
I didn't
still
get them.
there you go. But anyway, we're just over the 2 hour mark, so we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping things up.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to again special thanks to Pastor Rick, to Richard, to Stone Sour, and to T. Stewart for making
And
donations to
Stone
the
Sour
channel
again.
today. Stone Sour again making donations to the day to today to help us with our feline fund, to help us with our shelter pets or shelter cats, when they're not really pets, but our shelter cats. They're my friends and my neighbors. Yeah, I don't think of them as pets at all.
Yeah.
Always appreciate it. Goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Thank you, everyone else, for joining us here this evening. Again, if you haven't seen it, check out our tour video that
Yes.
we put up this week, because you may never see it the same way again. You may never see it the same way again. MIB, they also did in that same style Sequest, and
Ah.
there's only a handful of figures, and they're cheap too.
Mm.
So thanks for joining us every day, everybody. Hope you had a good time, and we will catch you again sometime soon.